Football's back.
Yes, it is, and we all couldn't be more geeked about that. Good to have you along. It's our NFL 4-Wide feature as we preview every NFL team leading up to the regular season opener. We're really pleased to have back with us Larry Hawley, who, of course, was a former weekend sports anchor here at WLOS in Asheville. He's now at WXIN-TV, Fox 59 in Indianapolis. Great to have you back, Larry. How you doing, bud?
I'm wonderful. How are you guys? I'm on with the wise guys. This is another one of those kind of knock off the bucket list moments. I can't believe it.
Yeah, man.
This is on your bucket list?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
That would be on my that would be on my plastic cup list. But no, I get your point on that, Larry.
If he's got his bucket list, I'm game, man.
Hey, Larry, of course, everyone wants to know right off the bat. Peyton Manning. I've got to think with the neck surgery and whatnot. I know we didn't get to really work with the team trainer because of the lockout. I got to think he's going to be ready to go regardless. What's the latest with him in that neck injury?
Well, I think the debate now is not necessarily the season. I think it's more if he'll actually get in the preseason. My guess is he probably will not, that they'll be overly cautious. As the offense is not really changing a lot. I mean, he's been in there. The core group of the Colts that they have been there for so long now. They just kind of come in and get it done. The question's going to be is how quickly can they all kind of get the speed. Back in 2008, he missed all of training camp. He had a bursa sac infection that cost him all of training camp. He wasn't even seen during training camp. And the Colts struggled for the first half of that year. Now, granted, they had a tougher schedule, but they started 3-4, which is very foreign to the Colts. They ended up finishing 9-0. Manning ended up winning the MVP. All was well in the end. But I think I really don't think that's going to affect him. He's been throwing a little bit in camp. He was not doing that in 2008, and he's been seen around. So I don't think this injury is nearly as serious. It will be interesting to see, though, how much of an effect it will have on the Colts, maybe in just those first 2 or 3 games. But, again, I don't think it's going to be anything quite significant. I would be stunned if he missed the Houston game, and I really don't believe that'll happen.
Larry Hawley joining us, WXIN-TV, Fox 59 in Indianapolis. We're going 4-wide with the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously with Manning, he's the linchpin offensively, and the Colts have been. It's been kind of an interesting couple of seasons with the Colts. You still have Reggie Wayne, and it's like plug a receiver in here and a receiver there, and it all seems to work with Manning. But offensively, it's not what it was, say, 2-3 years ago. What changes do you see in the Colts offense heading into the season?
The line is everything. They've got to find something to do with consistency in the offensive line. It was even a problem the year that they went to the Super Bowl. Bill Polian, the general manager, the president of the team, he's now just pretty much kind of backed off a little bit. His son, Chris Polian, is actually now the GM. Said after the Super Bowl he was unhappy with the offensive line. And right now the line is kind of a question. You have a rock there and Jeff Saturday, the center in the middle, one of the big guys that kind of helped save football during those negotiations. He's solid at that center spot. But you got to there's some issues with the tackles. Ryan Dean has been there, didn't have the greatest years, took a pay cut to come back. And then on the other side, they just drafted Anthony Costanzo. Where will he fit in there? There's also some question a little bit at the guards. You had a guy, Kyle Devan, came in there 2 years ago. He's starting. So there's a lot of questions on that offensive line. Where are they going to go? Those are the big things that the issues that they've not really solved over the past 3 or 4 years. When they had Tarek Glenn retire and they had Ryan Loja leave. All these little things. They've got to get that line set. And that's probably the biggest thing to watch during camp is who's going to be there. Are they going to start a rookie in Costanzo at that tackle spot? Are they going to start Jeff Leichenbach where he started last year? It's very interesting to see how that develops. As far as the receivers go, you're right. I think it's plug in. They plugged in Blair White. He was a walk-on at Michigan State. He has 2 touchdowns against the Patriots and triggers a comeback and did a pretty decent job. This year you're going to have Austin Collie back. There's no telling what the concussion is going to do. He says he's fine. There's a lot of gray area when it comes to concussion. So I really think that offensive line, guys, is the key. If they can shore that up, Reggie Wayne is solid. He's in good shape. He had a great offseason. If Collie stays healthy, he's good. If Anthony Gonzalez can stay healthy, he's shown to be a decent possession receiver. So, and of course, there's Pierre Garçon, the guy from Mount Union, really kind of come out of nowhere. Maybe he can become a bigger established threat. So again, guys, the offensive line, that's the key.
And yeah, okay, I'm looking at the depth chart. They didn't do anything different really at wide receiver other than get healthy. But I'm looking, Larry, I'm looking at the depth chart, and Joe Horn? Is this the Joe Horn? And what the heck is he doing in Colts camp?
Well, that's the first name that I saw, and he's actually a D3 guy. It's the first guy I saw on there. Bill Polian has unusual finds, guys that he'll find out of nowhere that nobody's ever heard of. That was Pierre Garçon a couple of years ago when he was at Mount Union, and he turned out to be a starter on the Super Bowl team. So, we've kind of seen him in practice. He's kind of one of those, kind of the lower division guys that they brought up here to give a chance. Napoleon must be something. It is not the cell phone Joe Horn.
Oh, okay.
First looked at it is not the cell phone Joe Horn. We thought the same thing. It actually is a Division III guy. I kind of thought the same thing. I'm like, Joe Horn, really? And then I looked out there. Now it's not the same guy, but he's kind of one of Napoleon's finds. Maybe they'll change something.
Well, so apparently this guy doesn't have the nationwide plan. Larry Hawley joining us. Larry used to be the weekend sports anchor, also reporter with WLOS. He's moved on to Indianapolis, where he works for WXIN-TV, Fox 59.
Yeah, nobody ever heard of Mississippi Valley State until Jerry Rice put it on the map. So,
and Varsity Blues and Jonathan Monson. You might remember that.
Oh, look at that.
Larry doing a little pop culture thing, too.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Hey, you know what? For years in the AFC, it was always the Patriots and the Colts. You knew those two were going to meet on the way to getting down to the AFC Championship, and it was going to go through one of those two cities. But in recent years, you got the Steelers and the Ravens, and now the Jets that seem to be contending year in and year out. As one of the perennial favorites in this thing for years, are the Colts feared like they were, do you think, by other teams?
I think they are still. I think the Manning aspect still has something there. Is this the offense of the 2004 and 2005 that put up numbers at will? No, it's not, and it probably won't be that, ever again. That was a unique combination of guys that they had there, not only in, their offensive line and not only in their receivers when they had Harrison and Stokely and the others. That's not going to happen. But I still think that the Colts are a team that tends to not make a lot of errors in the clutch. They tend not to make a lot of those errors in the clutch. They tend to do pretty well. That has flipped a little bit. I think it's flipped since the Peyton Manning and the interception with Tracy Porter in the Super Bowl. But the Colts have tended to be able to play very well when they had to. Last year they were 6-6, had to win 4 straight games, and they did that. The year before they were in a number of close games, tended to play well late, and did that. So I think people cannot disregard the Colts until they don't make the postseason. They're a very good team when they have to be a very good team. And I think that's proven. So I think people still have a lot of fear for the Colts, and I still think that this current group that they've got, despite the changes, still has 1 to 2 Super Bowl runs left in it as long as Peyton Manning is here.
Larry, we appreciate you, man. Great work as always. And, hey, if any Colts news breaks, we'd love to catch up with you at some point during the season, my friend.
You got my number. Give me a call, man.
Right on, man. Be good. Larry Hawley, former WLOS sports anchor reporter.